You know, there's nothing like earning a hard fought victory and following it up with a well deserved celebration. It's natural. But what if I told you that the most important time to celebrate might be when you feel you deserve to celebrate the least? I'll tell you what I mean, and I'll challenge you to change your point of view. Let's settle in for a pep talk.
A pocket-sized pep talk, the podcast that can help energize your business and your life with a quick, inspiring message. Now, here's your host, Rob Jollis.
Yeah, welcome to Pocket-Sized Pep Talks. Yes, there is nothing like a well-deserved celebration after a hard-earned victory. But one seems to feed off the other, and like peanut butter and jelly, victory and celebration seem to be made for each other. Call me a contrarian, but I think a celebration during a time of struggle, when there's little to celebrate, is even more important. Well, to better understand this point I'm about to make, I would suggest you watch one of my favorite shows. And I hope you don't think less of me when I tell you that I am a Survivor fan. I'm not real big into reality TV, but I've been watching that show for well over 15 years. I don't believe I've never missed a season. And for those of you who have never seen the show, or for those of you who need a reminder, each week there are two competitions. One's called an immunity challenge. That's the big one. If you win that one, you're guaranteed to be safe for another couple of days. You don't have to go to the trial, so to speak. But there's another competition each week, and that one's called a reward challenge. And those reward challenges are often underrated because the winners usually only walk away with some much needed food or fishing gear or a couple of blankets or possibly a letter from home. Those items probably don't sound very important to you, but then again, you aren't struggling to maintain your strength on a cup or two of rice a day, or sleep deprived, or under constant stress while away from your loved ones for an extended length of time. However, those little victories nourish the mind and the body. And properly fed, adequately rested, and mentally sharp, contestants are stronger and they make better decisions. Now, this in turn directly impacts the contestants' ability to be so much more competitive in larger, all-important immunity challenges yet to come. One thing's for sure, struggle can deplete the mind and body of energy. But victory, no matter how small, can do wonders. And a victory can provide amazing benefits that carry over to other things. It's amazing how things can change dramatically with even the smallest of victories. If only we could find ourselves a well-timed victory, no matter how small. Well, I maintain these smaller victories are there, and they're right under our noses. We just have to look harder. When we are engaged in struggle, smaller victories are the furthest thing from our minds. We dismiss even the thought of them. And if any good-natured friend reminds us of them, we quickly reject them, whatever it is they have to say. It's as if we believe that allowing ourselves to celebrate these small victories will somehow anger the gods of fate that surely must be listening. During these times of struggle, acknowledging and celebrating smaller victories makes sense. And there is no downside. Think of the last time you celebrated any victory. Were you stronger or weaker from the experience? Oh, and please don't tell yourself there's nothing to celebrate, because that's just not true. That's the struggle talking. There's a lot of things that you can celebrate and pat yourself on the back for, even when you're in the midst of great struggles. What about your resolution to keep trying? How about celebrating the amount of effort you've put into something? Why can't you acknowledge the courage you've displayed by putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation in your quest to succeed? Why shouldn't you feel good about the fact that you continue to learn from your mistakes? How about giving yourself a pat on the back for following your plan and pursuing your goals regardless of the results? When we struggle, We aren't starving for food. We're starving for joy. Allowing yourself to seek out and celebrate victories, no matter how small, will nourish your mind and body at a time when you need this sustenance the most. In turn, this will directly impact your ability to be more competitive in your larger, all-important challenges to come. So don't be afraid to give yourself a pat on the back. Here's to your impending celebration. Still struggling? Well, I'm not done with you yet. Let's see what we can do about that. I think sometimes we just have to ask ourselves, what do we want to happen? Do you want to still struggle? You know, it's rather amazing how our reaction to little, somewhat harmless events can provide insight into how we react to bigger events. Here's a quick test for you. Take a moment and consider what your gut reaction would be to the following situations. I've got 3 of them. First, when you misplace something, do you think it will be found shortly, or do you think it's most likely lost forever? 2, when you see a warning light go off in your car, you know, that little blinking light, do you think it will be something rather simple, or do you think there's a big bill coming your way? Third, when you prepare to meet with a potential customer, do you think of the reasons why the meeting will be successful, or do you think about the reasons why the meeting might just be a disaster? There's no right or wrong answer to the questions. Or is there? We've all lost our keys before, but how many times have we actually lost them forever? We've all seen a warning light go off in the car, but how often does it lead to a major expense? We've all met with potential customers before, but how often do these meetings truly become a disaster? Let me start by appealing to your sense of logic. When you've misplaced your keys, how often are they actually lost forever? Would you say 10% of the time? I'm sure that darn warning light has indicated a major bill before, once or twice, but how often does that truly happen? Would you agree that it's maybe, again, 10% of the time? How often has a meeting with a customer actually ended in disaster? Let's guess 10% of the time, one more time. That means if you're focusing on the most negative outcome, you're actually ignoring a 90% success rate. It may feel like looking at worst case scenario is a genetic trait, but who's to say that just because we're wired that way, we can't do a little rewiring? I believe that if you say something enough and you believe what you're saying, you can rewire that thought pattern and make it a habit. So let's try a new thought pattern. Focus on what you want to happen, not what you're afraid might happen. I'm going to say that again. Focus on what you want to happen, not what you're afraid might happen. Will there be times when what you're afraid might happen actually will happen? Yes, sure. And during those statistically obscure times, your reward will be, well, I suppose, come to think of it, what exactly is your reward? Is it just being right? Panicking, worrying, and constantly putting yourself through unnecessary stress doesn't seem to be worth what appears to be a non-existent reward. Is it to soften the impact of disappointment? Preparing to fail doesn't ease the pain of failure. If obsessing on worst case scenarios were just an occasional habit, it really wouldn't be that big a deal. Unfortunately, the act of jumping to worst case scenarios is usually a pattern and a destructive habit, and it can be corrected. Remember, the odds are on your side. What you want to happen will most likely happen. I've got an idea. Let's celebrate our victories. Let's celebrate our defeats, and let's focus on what you want to happen.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please rate and recommend it on iTunes, Outcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more information on this show and Rob at jollis.com.